All right, guys, I'm gonna get right to the point. This story right here I'm about to teach you or talk to you guys about. This is unreal, but it goes to show you why parenting matters. Because I'm telling you, we at present moment are experiencing the rise of feral children. I can't even talk right now. We're experiencing the rise of feral, uncaring, just wild people just existing out here right now. And they come in all different ages, shapes, and sizes. What I'm about to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the sickest things I've heard for somebody that doesn't know any better, I guess. Or should be. This right here, let's just get into it. See this person up here? This is supposed to be a trans person. This person up here has been a victim of a chemical attack. These kids you see here are who they're saying is responsible for it. They're saying one of these children is 8 years old or around 8 years old. You got 3 small kids, probably between 8 and 13 years old, I would assume, throwing some type of chemical type substance in the face of this person or on this person to where they suffered second and third degree burns and are in the hospital right now. Now this happened supposedly out there in the Philadelphia area. Yeah, said the liquid was unknown substance was thrown on the face and body of this person, and they're still hospitalized. This was last week. What the hell is the world coming to? Take a look at this.
Friends and family are pleading for help tonight in the wake of a truly horrific attack. This is surveillance video showing the very young suspects that police say threw a corrosive liquid at a woman as she prepared to take part in Pride festivities this past Sunday. That woman, identified as Diana, suffered serious burns and is now at the Temple Burn Center. Tonight, police are working to track down those young attackers as they also try to figure out why they did this. Action News' Taronda Thomas live in West Philadelphia tonight. Taronda, you spoke to police and Diana's friends today.
I did, and here at Southwest Detectives, this is still a very active investigation. Diana is recovering at Temple's Burn Center. Fortunately, there was a neighbor nearby during the attack who pulled her inside and rinsed her off. Still, she is left with severe burns.
There's a great community around her that's rallying, like I said, rallying around her.
Showing support for the victim of a heinous attack.
It was such excruciating pain, and I'm sure she went into shock, like immediately.
Shiloh Cologne's friend Diana now recovering at the Temple Burn Center after being splashed with a chemical that police say acted much like acid. It happened Sunday afternoon. The victim, Diana, who for safety reasons doesn't want to use her last name, had just gotten off the L at 52nd and Market.
She was walking down the street going to her destination with her earphones in, so there was no interaction. Nothing led up to this event.
They were walking towards her. She said that they stopped and then they threw the acid.
This, police say, is video of the 3 suspects walking away. They boarded the L at 52nd Street. All 3 were juveniles who could be very young.
In my opinion, they're anywhere from 8 to 12 years old.
Police are working to identify the kids seen on the train platform before the attack.
They were walking around with a cup.
Investigators are testing to find out what the chemical was.
That'll be all part of our investigation, where they got it at, why they had it.
It was strong enough to leave a mark at 51st and Ludlow and leave the victim with second and third degree burns. 25-year-old Diana, who is a transgender woman, was planning to celebrate the first day of Pride Month.
We really strongly believe that this was a hate crime.
Police say the attack may have been random, but they're investigating all of the possibilities. Meanwhile, Diana has the support of her friends and the community on her long road to recovery.
I can't believe how strong she is.
Police are asking anyone with information to call their tip line at 215-686-TIPS. Now, investigators are looking through social media. They're even going to the school district to try to identify these juveniles. Meantime, Diana's friends have created an online fundraising campaign that has already garnered more than $40,000 in donations. We have information on that at 6abc.com/links. In West Philadelphia, Taronda Thomas, Channel 6 Action News.
Tonight, police are looking for 3 suspects they believe are behind a chemical attack.
It's a story we first brought you at NBC 10 News at 4. Based on this surveillance video, police think the attackers are kids anywhere from 8 to 12 years old. Investigators say whatever they threw on the victim caused serious burns. NBC 10's Shaira Arias has more on the effort to track down those suspects.
Jacqueline and Fred, these are the children that police say they are looking for. We spoke to people in that area where the attack happened. They say they are very concerned because they feel like this could have happened to anyone. Police are hopeful that someone knows who they are and calls 911.
In my opinion, they're anywhere from 8 to 12 years old. Yes. Very small juveniles.
Those are the ages of the suspects police say they are looking for after a woman was severely burned with an unknown chemical in West Philadelphia. Officials say the attack happened when she got off the L train at 52nd and Market Street just after 1 p.m. June 1st, the same day thousands were out celebrating the start of the month of Pride.
She was walking down the street, going to her destination with her earphones in, so there was no interaction.
Detectives have released surveillance video showing the suspects just moments before the attack on the L at 52nd Street. And here, police say they are seen moments after the chemical assault getting off on 60th Street. The woman, identified as Diana, suffered severe injuries. Investigators are testing the chemical to find out exactly what it was, as well how the suspects, who could be minors, got a hold of it.
It's crazy out here. They just need to do better things out here with these kids, giving them some kind of activity group or something to get them off the street.
That was Lisa Sample's reaction when she heard the suspects were just children. The SEPTA stop on Market Street where the victim got off is her usual stop. She thinks anyone could have been a victim of the attack.
I'm very aware when I'm going to work and from work and stuff, and my surroundings, because it's crazy out here.
They were all wearing hoodies. One was blue. One of the individuals was wearing blue Crocs.
So far, this is all police say they know about the suspects. They are hopeful someone recognizes them.
We got to get these individuals off the street.
Friends of the victim opened a GoFundMe page to help the victim with medical bills. In Philadelphia, Shaira Arias, NBC 10 News.
All right, as you see, in stories like this, I mean, they got to make you angry. They do. Because that could be anybody. That could have got that caustic substance, whatever it was, thrown in their face. Shit was so bad, it stained the sidewalk. Acids do that. They turn the sidewalk white and stuff. But man, they said, particulars of it, the attack, happened around 1:30 p.m. last Sunday. The victim had just got off the Market and Frankfurt line, also known as the E1, at 52nd and Market Streets. So that's West Philly, I guess. Says she was walking down the street going to her destination with her headphones in, so there was no interaction, that nothing led up to this event. Said there she was walking towards, it said they were walking towards her. Says Detective Robert McKeever said, she said that they stopped and then threw the acid, had it in the cup. Investigators provided Action News with photos and videos of the 3 suspects walking away. And that's the thing, they walked away from this. It's a big failure to teach right and wrong nowadays in kids. And that's the problem. You heard the lady in the second thing, the older lady, and she meant well. But like I told you, a lot of people believe in what's constantly being said, and I don't agree with it, because the foundation starts at home. Parenting starts in the house. Lady said, and I mean, no swipe against her, they need more programs to keep these kids off the street. Okay, well, what about if these kids want to be in the street? They're between 8 and 12, they said, they're presuming. That little one need to be with his parents and not running the street and just going through neighborhood to neighborhood and riding on the train and all this stuff. Listen, when I was 8 and 12, I was in the house. My parents knew where I was because they knew what the world was. They knew the world was dangerous. The world is more dangerous now than it was before. And anybody that lives in it and is conscious knows that the streets are getting worse and worse, and children are getting younger and younger and committing crimes. So you would what? Keep your children closer to you. None of them kids would be out there running the damn streets without a parent knowing where the hell they are. But then again, everybody's so wrapped up in themselves nowadays and having these kids while they young, they still got their mentality that the children are adopting at a young age. Told you before, motherfuckers have babies and act like they wildebeest or gazelles. They supposed to get up, have common sense, and just run with the herd. And this is why we got a lot of feral, uncaring children out here right now. Parenting is the problem. It is. You can say it any way you want to, but listen. Parenting is the problem. It is. Another thing is this. A lot of parents are struggling and have to work. I know a lot of single mothers out there. And I'm more than sure these kids come from single mothers because they just wandering. When I was younger, the ones that wandered like that had single moms. They didn't have a parent in the house. A lot of times these kids will sneak out the house after their mom is forced to go to work. You know what I'm saying? And tell them to stay in the house, but they don't listen. They don't listen because they see their other friends and stuff like that. We don't know if these kids are related. We don't know if they friends. But for some odd reason, there are 3 wild kids going around doing wild stuff and some parents sitting around where they should be monitored and probably ain't even venting their friends. That one little boy was tiny. That's why they saying they think he was 8. The other boy might have been 12, 13 years old. Why is he running with him? At his age, how was he so responsible the way he gonna keep the others in line? It's crazy. Said the chemical was the chemical was strong enough to leave a mark on the cement, which we talked about, and lead a victim with 2nd and 3rd degree chemical burns to her face or his face, legs, arm, neck, and torso. So it was enough in that cup to cover all of that and cause some type of significant damage to somebody that was minding their business. It's crazy. Ain't no new programs needed because it ain't going to do anything. What's in here and the driving force to the actions physically from what's in here ain't going to change at some program. Because a lot of times these kids are more grown than their age looks because they figuring it out on their own. And it's always a recipe for disaster. Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. These kids get caught. Parents gonna act like they ain't know nothing, which they probably don't. And then they gonna ride to the rescue. I don't see my kid doing this. You know your kid. But a lot of people act like they don't. Another thing is this. It says the victim was 25 years old, named Diana, which is a transgender woman. When she was attacked, she was headed to meet friends and go celebrate the first day of Pride Month. Now, some people might say this is a hate crime. I don't know. But I do know this, and I almost forgot to say this. A lot of times when we was younger, we would see somebody that was a man or a woman dressed like the opposite sex or showing, times was different, feminine or masculine ways outside of the feminine masculine body that was opposite of who they was, and it would raise attention. And a lot of times I think, they're saying they strongly believe this is a hate crime. I think if it is a hate crime, I mean, these kids are young. You know what I'm saying? They might just see something that their parents might have talked about, or what they feel like doing to somebody like that, or they might this or have a certain vitriol or whatever, and they go through the kids, and the kids express what the parents would do, and then they do it. Now, I'm not saying that somebody was sitting around was like, look, oh, somebody's gay, I want to throw acid in their face. But a lot of times when you're talking about situations and you're just talking about it and you're in front of your kids just hypothetically, these kids be listening. And if they say they don't like something or they don't like how somebody lives their life, how somebody acts and something like this, a lot of times them kids be listening, and then they say, oh, it's okay to attack a certain type of person that looks like that, whether it's their race, their color, their religion, or whatever. Things that are heard in the house are acted out in the street a lot of times through the minds of children that don't know no better. So is it a hate crime? I don't know. But I do know stuff like what I just said does happen. And I figured I'd say that before I leave out of here. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. They're looking for these kids, but for some odd reason, they blurred their faces. Go figure. How you expect the public's help when you give us half of a picture?